It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, what time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have breaking news that I needed to share with you. Excuse me. And I don't know why this is not showing. Excuse me. Well, it appears I'm having some difficulty with my camera or my voice. So wow. Well, anyway, I'm sorry I'm having a little bit of trouble speaking right now. Maybe I'm being hit by frequency or something. Do excuse me. But anyway, I wanted to put out this urgent warning for people because if you haven't heard or don't know about this, I know you probably heard it before, or some of you have anyway. So if it's redundant, just bear with me. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but you need to go with your own instincts, use your own discernment. And this is just information which has been gathered from the web and was sent to me so that I could possibly notify my listeners. This Friday may be the start of the financial collapse, if you haven't heard that already. It'll build up into next week and beyond. There's a quote from an article, which I'm going to read to you, but the main quote is that the 12 biggest banks in America have notified the major credit card companies that they will no longer be using services as of December 14th. So it sounds like your 12 banks' credit cards will not be working this Friday. You will need lots of cash or checks available then. Although the new quantum financial system already has your bank checking, savings, and money account, market accounts mirrored into their system so that your money's safe, but we may experience these 10 days of darkness or any number of things where you may need some cash for a short period of time, even though it's not what it's expected to be. You should have at least 2 weeks of food on hand, for every person in your family. It's not a matter of if this is going to happen. It's a matter of when. And although we can't say anything for sure, like I said, I don't necessarily agree with everything that I'll be reading to you, but it is important for you to be aware of it. Could they possibly do the 10 days of darkness before Christmas? Maybe, maybe not. You again use your discernment. But I'm going to read for you a letter that was, or article that was written by Anna von Reitz, and it is concerning this very matter. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is if it's time for you to get something out of the bank, I would suggest that you do it before midnight tomorrow. Tomorrow midnight will be probably the cutoff point. So that being said, let me read this to you. And this is coming directly from Anna von Reitz. We have now confirmed from half a dozen sources that the 12 biggest banks in America have notified the major credit card companies that they will no longer be using their services as of December 14th. This has occurred in tandem with another kind of reset plan for December 15th, which would set the exchange rate at 1-to-1 for all world currencies. This will grossly devalue all Federal Reserve notes wherever they are. The idea is to establish parity for all national currencies and provide an exit for the Federal Reserve note being the reserve currency. It will do you no good to run to the bank and try to get your money out as cash. Whether cash in hand or on a ledger, it will be devalued just the same. The banks are unwilling to extend consumer credit or home loans or any other kind of credit because they do not want to be paid back with devalued money. Bear in mind that this whole situation is their fault, together with the politicians and the business mongols who have been milking the public in honor of corporate greed for the better part of 150 years. Also bear in mind that as Americans, you are owed absolute parity with the Federal Reserve note just as it stands. So what to do? Take screenshots of your bank account balances or go to the ATM on the 13th and get a paper receipt showing your account balances on that day. The massive credit crunch created willfully by these 12 banks, coupled with the devaluation, will collapse the housing market, the real estate values, that will in turn collapse the derivative market, and all those mortgage-backed securities will be recognized as worthless, and they will collapse all the pension funds, and that will take down the stock market. But don't despair or panic. Remember the credit side of the ledger you are owed, and all the heritage and legacy trust and off-ledger money you are owed. The bilateral bank system is able and ready to distribute prosperity cards and other prepaid credit and asset accounts to tide you over. As you are reading or hearing this, stay calm and prepare by laying in some extra grub, food, fuel, water, and whatever else you may need for about 2 weeks. Let me see. All right. Okay, let's see. Let me take you to the rest. The tragic thing is that all the chaos and suffering that will inevitably result before this mess can be straightened out could have been and might yet be avoided simply by a process of lawful conversion. So, it might be bad, it might not be bad. We don't really sure that they would want it to run as smooth as possible, but they also have no control over the bankers and what they decide to do. So if the officers and boards of directors of these banks are arrested before they can make this move and more intelligent heads rule the day, then this drama and nightmare can fade away. The entire world can be spared a devastating collapse simply by bringing the credit side of the ledger forward and distributing the prepaid credit and asset accounts that are owed. This would allow the banks to stay in business and make a decent, safe, lawful profit serving their communities. It would flip the debt ledger on its head and open up supply lines, restore public faith, and enforce lawful government. Let's vote for that. And if people who call themselves white hats are anything of the sort, let's see those arrest warrants and talk some sense into these 12 biggest banks in America. Well, whether or not that'll happen, I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm passing this information on to you because you have a right to know, and you're not going to hear it from mainstream media. Now, as I said before, please use your own discernment regarding this because I have no way of knowing for sure if this is going to happen as stated. But at least you have the information. Now, I have some other information as well that I'm going to go through real quickly. We are on a high alert because there is a global economic tsunami in process. The Bank of Japan has collapsed. The Federal Reserve has collapsed. SoftBank has collapsed. World Bank is set to collapse on Friday, the 15th of December. And that's why I'm giving you this information out now, because once they go down, that will affect everything. Global currency reset is in motion. Again, and I know you've heard this 100 times before, to have food, water, cash, and essential items on hand for your family and to share with others. Do the best you can. I went to food banks to fill mine, and I also had a Good Samaritan that helped me with food as well. So I hope you've done the same, or um, get ready. There's not a lot of time left if this really does happen on Friday. Make sure you withdraw your dollars from your bank. um, some people say they're not worried about the banks collapsing because, as they understand it, everything has been mirrored. The QFS, quantum financial system, and Q, the storm rider, consistently posts the U.S. military is decades ahead in tech, weapons, healing, travel, etc., etc. And all that is coming forward as well. We are moving into a totally new paradigm, and it's going to be awesome when we get there. There may be a little rough road on the way, but it's it is what it is. We'll get there. So anyway, as unbelievable as it may seem, 34 trillion in U.S. treasuries is said to be worthless, claims the Bank of Japan. Federal Reserve collapse after Russia signs currency peg agreements with the Saudis and UAE and OPEC, and that is from Hal Turner. So as this is written, this is Hal Turner at about 3:45. Um, this was on Thursday, the 7th of December. Alarm bells starting to go off over Intel circuits regarding the visit by Russian President Putin to the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia yesterday. On that trip with Putin was the chief of Russia's central bank, and I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not going to say it even. According to Intel, Putin signed a currency PEGs with both United Arab Emirates and with Saudi Arabia, which were allegedly done on behalf of all OPEC. According to Intel, these currency PEGs destroyed the petrodollar. So that's something to bear in mind. Again, this is Judy's note, again saying the same thing because of the decline of the fiat US dollar on which international trade rates were determined. The World Bank was set to close, bringing down the entire global financial world. 12 again, some of this is redundant, so bear with me. 12 of the U.S. largest banks have already sent notice to the credit card companies that they will no longer need their services as of Thursday, the 14th of December at midnight. This is why I said that earlier. On Thursday, December 7th, Bank of Japan collapsed. Banks are closing their branches all over the world. I've had Bank of America close in Cottonwood and Bank of America close in Sedona. So there are banks that are closing, and the ones that are closing are the ones that you can expect probably, just probably, we're working with the cabal in some capacity or with human trafficking, so on and so forth. So anyway, moving right along. So there are bank runs were rampant in Europe, although the mainstream media has yet to let Americans know about the global financial crisis that surrounds them because they've been trying to take America down, if you haven't noticed. And those that don't notice are going to be in for a big shock. All personal bank accounts have been transferred to the BRICS Alliance Gold Asset-Backed Global Financial System on the new Starlink satellite system, though it was not yet known when those accounts could be accessed. This is why get ready kind of information. That's why it would be wise to have some cash on hand, because obviously if your debit and credit cards don't work, that's the only thing you're going to have to rely on. As for myself, I've gone 10 days without cash before, so I've been that way before, but I do have some. Anyway, China on December 6th, China announced their gold-backed yuan. Yeah, incentivizing countries across the globe. Alexa, cancel. I'm sorry. Hang on one second. I'll be right back. I got to turn something off. Thank you for telling me, Gina, because I had myself muted and I didn't even realize that I was still muted, because when I left to do my little chore there, I'm not sure where I left off now either. Oh my goodness. Well, I tell you what, I just threw this together because I wasn't expected to be doing this tonight. So bear with me, okay? If you didn't hear the part about JFK Jr., hello, everyone. Let me read that over again because it's important that you get it. They tried to assassinate me. This is JFK Jr. Because I love the people and worked for the people. They tried to assassinate Queen Diana because she was loved by the people and she worked for the people. They tried to silence Donald J. Trump because he loved the people and worked for the people. They tried to kill John McAfee because he loved the people and wanted to show the truth to the world together. We are coming back stronger than ever. 24 hours remaining. Worldwide banking crash, media blackout, 10 days of darkness begin. The World Bank is expected to collapse on Friday, December 15th. So if you need to get some cash out, do it tomorrow. Just for those 10 days. But again, I don't know for sure if this is going to happen. This is just the intel I got, and I'm sharing it for that reason. Media blackouts imminent. Nuclear forces on high alert, but remember, the nuclear stuff has been shut off by extraterrestrial beings. We've got evidence of that, and I've seen it. So nuclear should not happen. Chinese men migrants are building an army in the U.S. They've recorded a bunch of Chinese age fighting age men that have entered through the border. That's not good. So again, the U.S. economy could face a perfect storm if Basel III endgame goes into effect. Here's why. This is a new regulation that the banks are supposed to meet, and they have a requirement of by 20% or more in the 8 largest banks, a capital requirement. In other words, they're supposed to have the money backed. Okay. So anyway, huge deposits have exited the U.S. banking system in 1 year as money market funds witness historic inflows. Also, well, a lot of this is redundant, so I don't want to keep saying it, but Israel intensifies southern Gaza offensive. U.S. UN urged civilian protections. Israeli forces pressed ahead with their air and ground bombardment of southern Gaza Strip, killing and wounding dozens of Palestinians, even as the United States and the United Nations repeatedly urged them to protect citizens. I can't believe what they're doing there. Genocide, Israel's mass starvation campaign targeting children. Due to the sealed borders and the minuscule passage of food, water, medicine, and fuel through the single Rafah crossing Egypt, many Palestinians already are down to a single meal a day. But now, according to the Israeli plan, they may be lucky if they get that. This is horrific. This is genocide of the Palestinian people. It's just unbelievable. And a lot of the Israelis that don't agree with anything that's going on are protesting the government, because once again, it's the government officials that are responsible for this. And of course, the Israeli Defense Force is also following orders from you know who. And this is where the problem lies. People need to realize that some orders are just not, especially when it's resulting in genocide. And Tim, as far as I know, I talked to Drake, unless he he is with us, but he just doesn't have the energy to do a show at this point in time. That's what he told me the last time I talked to him. And I will call him again this week and see if any of that has changed. So he's just not up for doing any shows at this time. Oh my God. The Palestinians captured by IDF, stripped and paraded in Gaza. Palestinian men allegedly surrendered in the Jabala, the refugee camp, with Israeli outlet Walla saying they were stripped naked to rule out the possibility that they were carrying weapons. Now, that's just a way of humiliating and torturing people in a very evil way. Unbelievable. Major escalation coming. Right-wing Israelis to march to Temple Mount. Two Israeli right-wing ultra-nationalist organizations, together with numerous so-called Temple Mount activist groups, are set to hold a march through Muslim Quarter in the old city of Jerusalem Thursday night to call for reestablishment. Israeli leader, Prime Minister Netanyahu, I can't even say his name. If you attack, we'll turn Beirut into Gaza. So what's going on in the Middle East is really sickening. But it needs to be stopped. So ex-Mossad agent Ari Ben Menashe stated Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell worked for the government of Israel to blackmail American politicians with recorded child abuse. If Ghislaine Maxwell is still alive, she, like Jeffrey Epstein, whom she created, is working with the Q team. Like McAfee is working with the Q team, and dozens of other people that we think are dead are actually alive and went into witness protection. Obviously, when you find out the true evil that's gone on our planet, you're seeing more. They're being much more open about all of this. The reason why the deep state demo rats are fighting Senator Marsha Blackburn absolutely will not give up the Epstein flight logs or client list. Gee, I wonder why. It brings down the entire deep state cabal, including most in the U.S. government, Pentagon, intel agencies, Wall Street. Remember when Julian Assange said 98% of government will disappear, the government officials, I should say, because what they've done. And during that 10 days of darkness, that's what we will be witnessing on recordings that they made of people that they've already dealt with. And much of it's already been done. So that's that. Okay, now Robert F. Kennedy Jr. explains the history of the U.S. bioweapons program. The first mission of the CIA, when it was started in 1947, was called Operation Paperclip. And Operation Paperclip was an effort to get German Nazi scientists, many of whom were sentenced to death or who were facing prosecution at Nuremberg, to smuggle them out on rat lines and put them to work developing bioweapons and chemical weapons and nuclear weapons and missile systems in the United States. So a lot of them ended up in Fort Detrick. They ended up down in Galveston or one of the Navy labs, and that was the beginning of the United States bioweapons plant. So when Paperclip happened, we thought, everybody was taken care of with the first Nuremberg trials. Well, obviously they weren't, because many of them came over here to the United States. Some of them went into South America, but many of them escaped execution. And I hope that's not going on right now, because we will be seeing trials and military trials and tribunals that have been going on under the radar, under our ability to see it happening. There are people reporting on it, but unless you're an eyewitness, you never know anything for sure. And we certainly have been known to be getting disinformation from both sides of the good guys and the bad guys. So, and they always say, you can't tell the enemy what you're doing. So that's something. We have special forces that are taking out DUMBs, deep underground military bases in central Mexico. The land of the vicious satanic MS-13, who conduct major human and drug trafficking into America across our southern borders. Brave soldiers and military dogs and medical personnel rescue the innocents, seize the assets, and blow up or flood the dumps. That's what's happening. 28 out of 30 Army brigades are trained in subterranean combat. That's according to Gene Decode. President Trump, who's commander of the military, CIC Trump. We're closing the border and we're drilling. And that drilling is to get some fuel back, because that's going to be another issue that's coming up thanks to some of the things that have been done by the current administration. So, according to an Arizona sheriff in the lower, the southern part of Arizona near the borders, we're saying that illegal immigrants are being handed $5,000 gift cards. Isn't that nice? And yet they're kicking out veterans and so on out of hotels and other places. And what's going to happen when all that money runs out and they don't have jobs and so on and so forth? We have a lot to deal with coming forward. So that's pretty much the gist of everything, mainly being that if you need to have cash on hand, it would be a good idea to do that because your cars won't work after midnight tomorrow. Now, I'm guessing that these are the main banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America. I don't know about you, but I called the credit union that I belong to, and it was really hard to get a straight answer if they were compliant with Basel 3 or 4 and that ISO, I forget the call, 2200 or something like that. Anyway, yes, this is for real, Julia. How it all goes down exactly, we don't know. Again, use your own discernment on everything that's been said here. But from the looks of it, it looks like a lot is going to be happening starting on Friday and into next week. So stay alert, stay aware, and just know that I just put this out there for you to ponder and consider as possibilities and to take any necessary action if you need to. And again, let me announce that I will be having a show with Jenny Lee, who predicts many good things. And and we will talk about this and see where things are at and what she gets from her seer abilities. All right. Well, guys, that's about all I really have for you right now. I just wanted to get this out here so you were aware, and I will, like I said, I will be talking to you on Friday with Jenny Lee. And I'm sorry this is a little bit of a haphazard presentation, but like I said, I just got the information today and I'm putting it out today. So have a good evening. If you need to have some cash on hand, I would suggest that you do that tomorrow before midnight. Not that I want to cause a bank run or anything like that. Know that your money is mirrored, but still, you might need a little bit to get by with during the 10 days when nothing is operating. And we don't know how long it will take to transition the financial system, the quantum financial system, to work for us, to get the different cards that they'll have to give out, and maybe even computers. We'll see. I've seen a lot of that. We'll see. But this is the best I can tell you for now. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you on Friday, and we will get Jenny's predictions on all of this at that time. And her accuracy has been spot on. And she's talking about buildings and corporations collapsing. So if that would be explainable based on what I've just gone through. So have a great rest of your day or evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I'll see you again soon. And please take a look at the products in the description. It's very helpful. You can give people the gift of self-healing through the SuperPatches or the more mito, which, supports your mitochondria. I only take products that I truly believe in and believe are actually going to help people. So be aware of that and take a look. And they would make great gifts, because you can get as little as for people to try. And right now I use the patches and I love them. I really do. They're fun to work with. So that being said, I'll see you soon, and I'll see you.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now, don't look back now. Destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are